Oh, that was a lot better for Plymouth Argyle. 1-1 against Hull City. We're here to review it on the fastest and most compact Plymouth Argyle review on the internet. Goalkeepers, though? Big questions to ask. Lucky we've got two much more happy pilgrims to do that with us this week. Welcome to our Pilgrim's Walk. It's good to hear that back at home part, wasn't it? This week, welcome Connor, Carl, and of course Jaden, our regular pilgrim to the channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We love your content. We are looking for 15 likes on our videos this week because we're a much happier bunch. Welcome all. Carl, let's start with you. First of all, was it good to have football back at home park? We'll get on to the results in a second, but atmosphere was good. There wasn't any hangover, I don't think, from the Wednesday result in terms of the fans, was there?
It's good to be back. I think there was anxious faces in the crowd. Personally, they were thinking, "It can't happen again." I mean, I was sat there and I was watching. I was like, "Okay, it's a rocky start. Let's give him another chance." And then Hull scored within the first 10 minutes, but it was offside. I thought, "Not again." So I was like a bit like, But then we grew into the game. I thought he was very motivated on the touchline, Rooney, which I liked. I like that in the manager, instead of the ones that just sit down and put their hands in their pockets. I like them shouting. I like them motivating and bigging up the crowd. I do like that. But overall, I can't complain. We didn't lose, but again, we still need to improve to stay in this league.
Yeah, we'll get on to that. Massive improvement needed in a second. But Jaden, what was your view on the first half? There was lots of comments saying the first 30 minutes this was blew Hull away, didn't you?
Yeah, the first 15 minutes I thought we battered them. I know they scored the offside goal, but other than that, honestly, we could have scored 3 goals in that first 20 minutes or so. It was incredible, really. We just come out the block so early. The crowd was behind the team and the manager fully. And yeah, we just looked like we were going to score countless times. So yeah, it was a very positive start. And it took a while to get going in the end, but we did score eventually, and then we got cancelled out. But yeah, it's just a shame we couldn't get the 3 points because we could have scored so many times so early in that game.
Yeah, we'll come on to their goal in a second. But Connor, walk us through your goal. Scored by your hardest working player, isn't
it? He's probably going to be our standout player. I think it's going to be. I think we're going to get quite sick of his name in the 85th minute. Player of the match, Ibrahim Sissoko, because he was just quality, and the goal was so well taken. I think he had like 3 or 4 players around him at the time, and just struck it with so much like pace that I don't think anyone was really getting on the end of that. But Hardy did well to leave it down for him, but then he did all the hard work himself as well. So, but yeah, he's absolute mustard.
Yeah, and this is what it meant to Rooney and the team. It was a hop, skip, and a jump, I think. Hull then equalised as we've spoken about. When we spoke to them, they were very disappointed in their own performance and actually recommended that Plymouth should have really taken all 3 points, but it was a stroke of genius by Coyle. Are those sort of goals unstoppable, or when a player has run halfway through the midfield, Carl, do you always think, why has no one brought him down?
That comes down to experience again. I will say this until we pray and we get a midfielder in with Forshaw. When he's fit, he is undoubtedly one of our best players. Without a shadow of doubt, he can make the team tick. And Randall can learn an awful lot off him. But without that experience and then knowing when to drop back and not let him get so far, I was just sitting there like, why are you letting him have so much space? He's driven, 20, 30 yards, and he's just cut it, passed it, and he's received it back, bang, top corner, done. So I just said, it's our own fault. completely 100%. But we'll learn from it, and Rooney will know it was preventable, which is good. I mean, he takes fault. He says, "Yeah, I know it was we should have done better." But onwards and upwards. I mean, I'm a bit more positive than I was last week. I'm not going to lie. You remember last week?
That's not difficult, is it? Let's be fair. And actually, Sheffield Wednesday losing to Sunderland, Jaden, puts really into perspective, doesn't it? I think a little bit that actually, it wasn't just about you being bad, but Sheffield Wednesday themselves, got a spanking. So, welcome back to the Championship, where anyone can beat anyone, isn't it?
Yeah, it just sums up this league, to be honest. It's incredible. I hope we stay in it for as long as we can because it's just amazing. It's incredible.
Okay, we'll look at your next opponent in a second. We're also going to chat to you about central defenders. But Connor, there's a question mark about the goalkeeper. We spoke about goalkeepers last week. I think Carl put a very forceful tweet out, I think, saying, "I never want to see him in an Argyle shirt again." Where do you stand on Mr. Hazard, Connor?
He's a backup at best, really, isn't he? He's in no way, shape, or form should be starting. He is. If we need him, we'll bring him on because the keeper's got himself a red or he's injured. But we need to go in with the money that we've got for Cooper, and we need to actually spend it, which is something I always feel we're very reluctant to do with any money we get. We just don't do.
Yeah, you do. Obviously, as we spoke about last week, you've lost your main man to Sheffield United. Carl, any final thoughts on that transfer? Does he go with your well wishes in the end?
He deserves the chance. I'm got old man's up. I was a bit gutted. But at the same time, he's got to do what's best for him, isn't he? I mean, if he feels he can get up to the Premier League, which if he develops into Sheffield United, he can do. I don't see why not. But at the same time, I'm gutted to lose him. He was through the academy. But I don't understand how we can value him at 6 million and then go down to 2 million within a day. I just staggers me a bit.
It was a baffling one, wasn't it? I'm sure you were offered more money, turned it down, and then took a lower offer. I'm not sure how true that was, Jaden. But do you? When you spoke about him all last year, how great he was on this channel. Do you wish him well, Jaden, or is he another rubber snake one? Which you must remind me, we'll talk about rubber snakes for next week's fixture.
Yeah, no, definitely wish him all the best. I just wish we could have got a little bit more for him. Especially because I think he would have wanted Argyle to get a bit more for him as well because of how much he loves the club as well. So at least 4 million would have been nice, but it is what it is. It's better than seeing him go for free, isn't it? So yeah.
All right. Well, you're back on the road this week as you travel east to Loftus Road. Let's have a chat to our QPR fan. Welcome, Jawad, to Where Pilgrims Walk. We really appreciate your time on here. 8 of the last 10 have ended in draws between you two. So I'm saying right now, this is a 1-1. This is 1-1 for me. Tell us what QPR have been looking like this season.
It's been a bit of a mixed bag, really. A defeat, a lucky cup win, and a well-earned point at the weekend. I think the second half performance on Saturday is kind of the blueprint now going forward. First half, absolutely dreadful, and Marty admitted afterwards that he got his team all wrong. The 2 new players have come in and they look like they've changed everything already. So I think we're going in with a bit of confidence now, actually.
Okay. When I asked you who's going down this season, at the very start, you were very quick to say Plymouth in your review. Have you changed your mind on anything that you've seen or read about them in the last couple of weeks?
It's nothing personal, actually. QPR and Plymouth had quite a healthy rivalry. I think the 03-04 season, Plymouth were champions. They won the league against us at Home Park. it's a great away day. They travel in numbers. They're always extremely welcome at QPR. The behaviour is always spot on. So it was nothing personal. I think the kind of the Wayne Rooney kind of hype, I think most people kind of had them down as relegation favourites. I personally quite like him, actually. So I do hope they stay up and start to pick up points, but probably after Saturday.
And you've got two new midfielders which got their debuts. How did they do? Has Rooney got to look out for these two?
Yeah, I think they're going to be our two key men, especially with Ilias Chair being out. They both look extremely quick, extremely tricky, and it's something that we've lacked for quite a while recently. So I think with it being their home debuts, I think everyone's going to go in quite excited and optimistic to watch them play at the weekend.
Okay. Connor, what changes need to be made to the starting 11 that started against Hull? Any or?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'd probably he looked strong during the week. I'd throw that Shooks on, the young Hungarian lad. I'd also hopefully the new keeper is in and he can hit the ground running, keep a nice clean sheet against QPR. That'd be good.
Young Hungarian lad, did you say? Is he related
so
to?
Yeah, we've got a new centre back. Yeah, he's again another Hungarian. We love them over here, so
yeah,
keep that tradition going.
One of our favourite players, he is.
Carl, anything else needs to change for you?
You know what? After what I saw on Saturday, I think Azaka's time is now. I think it's time. I mean, you can't do it without experience. I mean, really believes in youngsters. I think Morgan Whittaker should be dropped.
Ooh, controversial. Jaden, you having that?
It's a difficult one. I'd keep Member in, especially. I wouldn't put a beta back in or anything like that. Taking Whittaker out last season, you wouldn't go near it, would you?
No.
But maybe it is time. Maybe it is time to experiment a little bit. I don't think it will make a huge difference to our performance, to be honest. So maybe it is time to experiment, especially now we got Sissoko as the main man at the minute, who's kind of carrying us, if you like. So yeah, maybe it's time to make a change in that element.
Okay. Let's get some score predictions then. Connor, you haven't won at Loftus Road since 2007, although you obviously haven't played there every single year since then. But it's not been a happy hunting ground. It mostly ends in a 1-1 draw this fixture. Is it going to be 1-1 again?
1-0. I'm going to hopefully new keeper, clean sheet. So yeah, let's go.
Okay. Well, this new keeper's coming from in the next 5 days. Okay. Joward?
I rarely predict a QPR win, but I feel I'm going to have to. I'm going to go 2-1.
Okay. All right. Cheers, Joward. Score predictions from the fans. Drop them in the comments below. If you are correct, we'll give you a shout out next week. Thanks, Joward. We'll catch you in the reverse fixture later on this season. Cheers. And for the rest of you,
on Saturday, lads. Cheers.
Cheers, Joward. Here's some takes on the game from social media. This one is a straightforward one. Carl should have won. Much better. Need a new keeper. All okay with that?
Yeah, you can. I'd happily agree with that in a sense. I still think our midfield needs, like I say, experience, and defend. I could do with another experience. I think personally.
Okay. Jaden, Vince says, much better performance and was a great goal from Sissoko, but taking Sissoko off was a mistake. And why was Hazard taking so long to take kicks in the last 10 minutes like we wanted the draw? There's a couple of people who said that the substitutions weren't right. Are you having that? Or is it fair to give players that probably haven't got the legs a rest?
No, I agree with that. I agree. We shouldn't have taken Sissoko off when he was playing so well. And the Hazard thing, I think it was the last minute. We had 1 minute left, and he took the entire minute to take his goal kick, and by the time he had taken the goal kick, the ref blew up the whistle. So that was pathetic. The whole crowd was on his back, and I think that's the whole reason why no one wants to see him play for Argyle again. To be honest, it was honestly, it was awful. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. When you're at home against a team that you could have easily beaten, it is baffling. And Connor, the last one here, pressed really well, had the best of the football, deserved to win the game, could have scored 2 or 3, much more aggressive to win the ball back. I want to ask you about this one. Did you see a more aggressive style in your play? What the other thing we spoke about last week was missing was that aggression, that any tackling at all was missing against Wednesday. But did you feel like the players were up for it and fighting for the ball?
I feel like it's kind of it's come in, but it's still very lacking. It's when especially with that their goal, it was so passive. They just cut through us like butter, and you didn't really feel that we were even trying to get the ball back. And there was like periods of the game where it is just so easy to move through us, because I feel like sometimes we do just let players go. And for sure, I've seen him duck out of 50-50s about 2 or 3 times, where he could have committed a bit more, but he just wasn't willing to take that extra step. So for me, more aggression is still needed.
Okay. Last week we talked about goalkeepers, and we probably cursed it because you've obviously lost yours. So we're talking about central defenders this week. Carl, in comparison to other areas of the squad, would you say this is probably an area you don't need investment in, or would you still like to see some movement in the loan market, perhaps?
Well, it's got to be the right player. I mean, I wouldn't suggest for 1 minute to go out and buy a player for the sake of it. Oh, we need one. Just get one who's ever's cheapest on the market. It's got to be the right type of player who's going to fit in to the playing style we want. But I would suggest, because if one of them gets injured, you're fighting a losing battle. So I would go in for one more and then rotate when possible. Obviously, don't rotate it too much because that unsettles the team. But I would definitely, if I had a say in it, I'd say, yeah, we need one more who has plenty of experience, because then they can even guide the youngsters of the team to obviously certain situations where you're being high pressed, when to go up, corners, all that. It's just little things that it will add up, it will come, but we need that experience, which I feel we've lacked for quite some time.
Okay. And then Jaden and Connor, I'll let you debate this between yourselves. What's the strongest pairing of centre-backs that you'd like to see starting regularly?
I'd go Gibson and Sachs.
Yeah.
But we play back 3 sometimes, don't we? So
So I'm an absolute lover of Julio Pleguezuelo. And I think on the weekend we had Galloway and Gibson together. If I remember, but they're both left-footed. So the ball, there was no way. So I wouldn't go with them 2 together again. I'd Gibbo and Pleggy for me. Well, I mean, he had a few clangers last season, but I love him.
Okay.
Yeah, but we haven't not really seen enough of Powson and Sachs yet, so it's tough. You have to go with Gibson and Pleggy at the minute. You know, they've probably played with each other a lot more. So, yeah, that's fair enough. I agree with that. Okay.
All right, then. Cheers for that. We're going to ask you about right backs and left backs next week, which you definitely need to invest in. Looking at your threadbare squad that you have in that one. Just win the Carabao Cup as well. Obviously, that was a nice confidence boosting win, Carl. Did you learn anything about Plymouth from that game? I know it wasn't the full 11, but what did you learn about Rooney or the style of play you're likely to see?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't learn a lot from that because of the opponent. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, we learned this and that. I said because of the strength of the opponent, I thought we can't compare, because you put that League 2 side to a Championship side, 2 different completely games.
Yeah. All right, fair days. Jaden, you were there. Did you anybody impress that doesn't usually get into starting 11?
After the first half, I thought it was going to be a very long season, to be honest, but we turned that around. And it was a good performance in that second half. Bundu impressed a lot. I think Sissoko came off the bench, and he was very impressive and continued to show that at the weekend. So, yeah, they're the two that really impressed me the most. And Asaka, of course, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you all watching then. We talked about central defenders, but who has been the best pairing of central defenders that Plymouth Argyle have ever had? This is going back from year dot. I'll ask these three for their opinion in a second, but we'd really love you to put in the comments below. And again, we'll get some shout outs next week. So, the best pairing. We know you've had lots of good central defenders, individuals, but in terms of the partnership that have understood each other, read the game well, Carl, which pair win this hands down for you?
In my experience, it's got to be Dan Scarr and James Wilson.
Okay. I thought that might be it. Jaden?
For me, it'll be a trio. When we played a back five, it'll be Wilson, Scarr, and who was the other one?
Maka.
It'll come back to you.
Oh yeah, Gillespie. That's it.
Okay.
Wilson, Scarr, and Gillespie would be my three.
All right, Connor.
I think, it's a defence. Obviously, from recent memory, it has to involve Dan Scarr. I think Maka. There was always a three. Yeah, I'd probably go same with Jaden. Wilson, apart from his turning circle, was that of a bendy bus. He was pretty good.
Okay. I know older Plymouth fans will want Paul Watson and Graham Coughlin being shouted out here as well in the early 2000s. So just to mention there, if we got any more senior Pilgrim fans watching this saying, "Oh, these youngsters, they don't know what they're talking about," comment below if you can go even further back than the year 2000. Plymouth Argyle central defenders. Right, cheers very much for that. Enjoy your trip to QPR. 1-1. Get your money on it now. I promise you this game always finishes in 1-1. And you can thank me next week when you're richer. Cheers, Connor. Cheers, Jaden. Cheers, Carl. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week for the 4th edition of Where Pilgrims Walk. And it's a big one next week because Stephen Schumacher is back in town. Get your plastic snakes ready. See you next week.